This is the cheapest lens that I ever used. And I admit I was prepared to not like this lens. I'm not a fisheye photographer, it's not really my thing, and I had a lot of fun here with Miguel and Laura using this lens. So this is the Brightin Star 10mm f5.6, a lens sent to me for a review. But I truly believe that this lens will help you if you are a photographer beginners, because it's extremely cheap. Well, we couldn't focus after that. I'm impressed with this lens. First, the build quality. For the price less than 70 bucks, all metal and smooth focus ring. It's good that it's smooth because you're gonna use a lot the focus ring. It's a very small lens, even on the small R50. It's fully manual, there is no contacts on the lens. Everything is controlled by hand. Not everything. And as you can see, there is no aperture ring because it's a constant locked f5.6 aperture. And you have to deal with it. As there is no contact pins, the camera thinks that there is no lens connected, so it won't take pictures. So you have to go to the menu, release shutter without lens, and you have to put it on. This is 10mm, but with a crop factor, this is an aps-c lens, it will be 16mm. I am extremely close to Laura and I am catching her hand, her head, and the view in the back. Yes, the distortion is one of the features of a fisheye lens, but usually I don't like distortion. But this clean, round distortion make the ambience look very interesting. But still the question is, can we correct it? Let's try out. So I'm gonna use the brakes as a template. Here we are in Lightroom and let's try to correct the distortion. So I'm gonna pick up the distortion option and start to push it, to push it, to push it, to push it. And yeah, that's the max that we're gonna get. And if I press R, we lose all this image here. Yeah, it mitigates a little bit the distortion, but it's not enough. Let me try on another image. Yeah, I think the best thing on this lens is just accept the distortion and try to frame as best as you can. How sharp is this lens? Well, let's find out. And I'm gonna put it against the f2.8. It's 350 bucks. You can buy almost 5 lenses like this buying this one. To get even more expensive, have a speed booster. So this 14mm with a crop will be roughly 17mm. So we're gonna use the same aperture, but as it's a speed booster, it will give me a one stop of light, so I have to reduce the shutter speed. So let's compare these two lenses. Immediately you can see which one is the fisheye lenses. Now the speed booster will lose a little bit of quality because you are adding more optics, but I wanted the closest field of view as possible. There is some curious thing. If I zoom in on the center of the image, the Brightin Star, it looks sharper, it looks in focus. Now the Samwanyanyong, it's a little bit strange because I did check the focus a bunch of times and it doesn't look as sharp. Let me zoom in, make sure that Miguel is on focus. That is something very curious. 14mm has a little bit more vignetting in this one. Actually, it's very, very impressive. As this is a fisheye lens, there is no optics trying to correct the distortion. You can see the clean curve over here, which one, this one has a really strange curve, like it's a bit zigzaggy. And that is optical, that is not the speed booster, that's actually the Samwanyong that is doing that, because I already tested and I saw this awkward distortion, okay? Let's see the sharpness in the corners. As you can see now, the Brightin Star 10mm is losing, so the corners is not as sharp as the Samwanyong. Another thing that you notice is the defringing. The Brightin Star, it's losing badly the case here. And I go to this area here, you can see the magenta is starting to pop up as well. So how difficult is to clean this in Lightroom? Actually, it's pretty damn easy. Let me show you. Let's go to developed mode and one click and the problem disappeared. How easy and simple is that? But still, this is a less than 70 bucks lens. It shouldn't be as clean and sharp as this lens is. It's quite impressive. Let's talk about using this lens for video.
Let's be honest here, it will be bumpy. There is no image stabilization on this lens, and of course the R50 has no IBIS, so yeah. You need to pay attention how you hold your camera and try to stabilize as much as possible. But imagine if I had IBIS.
So my R6 has IBIS, so I am testing this with the R6. If you know, an R6 is full frame, so to have the correct proportion, you need to put it in crop mode. And look at this lens, look at it. It looks like someone get out of the shower, you know? And also, to stabilize the video, you need to tell the IBIS that you are at 10 millimeters, okay? How does it look? It's bumpy? Just a small recording with both hands holding the camera and trying to make a smooth walk.
So how this lens will make you a better photographer? I did a reel on my Instagram that resumes everything in less than 30 seconds.
5 reasons why this lens will make you a better photographer. You definitely can afford it and introduce yourself to fisheye lens. For example, the manual focus lens forced me to learn how to reroute the delete button to digital zoom. Locked at f5.6, you can get bokeh with wide angle? Yes. Get it close and focus with distance. Not enough light? Balance better the shutter and ISO. You don't imagine how good high ISO can be in today's cameras. Do your research on framing with a fisheye lens and give it your spin. Just pay attention to not photograph your feet.